Hey guys, it's Amaya, and my little hidden talent. Okay, well, it's not really a hidden talent, but it's just something that not a lot of people know about me. But I know how to sew. So the reason I know how to sew is because when I was younger, I would get holes in my stuffed animals and I would get so upset. So one day my grandma was like, okay, I'll teach you how to sew. So I used to sew all the little holes in my stuffed animals back together. And then as I got older, it just progressed into like fixing pants and like fixing holes inside t-shirts. So today I'm gonna teach you how to fix a hole in your pants. Okay, so the only thing you need for this is obviously your needles and your thread, and then your pair of clothing that you're sewing. This can actually be a very difficult process, but to thread this needle, you want to pinch it like by the head, and you're just gonna put this right on top of it. And then just wiggle it through until you get it. So now that the needle's in there, we want to see how long we have to make the thread. So you see the hole? So we want to do double the length of the length of our thread. We're just going to want to make it even at the ends. And now we're going to tie our knot. So I'm left-handed, so I'm going to tie this around my right finger. But if you're right-handed, you would obviously like tie it around your left finger. So now we have this little X, and we want this little tail at the end right here to be as tiny as possible because you don't want extra thread at the end. But like also big enough to where it's not gonna unravel itself. So I'm just loosen this boy up. And then we're gonna twist off our fingers. And now we have this little piece right here. Keep this hand tight, your left hand. And then with this finger, pull at that little ball that's right there forming. And just we're gonna pull this down to make this a tight little knot. And you can do it a couple times if you want it to be bigger, but you also don't want it to be too big because then you'll just... Okay, so now we get to the actual sewing part. And when you do like a pair of pants or a shirt, you always want to do it inside out. So as you can see, like this is the inside of the pants because it's going to get a little funky back here. It's bound to happen. It's never going to be perfect because we are doing it by hand. So if you start a little bit before the hole, then you're going to want to put it through both sides of those pants and then pull, but not all the way through. And now we have to make, since we tied the thing earlier, the thread earlier, there is a little hole. I don't know if you can see it right there. There's a little hole right there. So we're gonna take this back this way, and I'm just gonna thread this needle through this hole and then just pull tight. So there is my first little start. And now you see, pull both ways. It's not coming out. So now that our thread is there and we're back on this side, we're just gonna make a zigzag in and out pattern. So we're gonna go in the pants this way and then pull through and try to make sure that your thread doesn't get stuck back here because then you'll create unnecessary knots. So then now we're gonna flip to the other side and do that same in and out. So see, it goes in this way, comes out this way. And you're just gonna do that all the way down the seam. So now that we've gone all the way through on one side, you can see how it kind of is like in and out pieces. So like there's a line here and then a gap and then a line here and then a gap. And the same thing with the other side. So there's like the thread here, gap, thread here, gap. So now that we're on this side, we're gonna go into those incisions to like fill those holes. So like this starts here. So I'm gonna put the thread through that hole to bring it back to the other side so that now there's no longer that gap there. And you can also tighten it, but not too much to where like you see if I tighten it too much, I'm scrunching up the pants. So you just want it kind of like a relaxed tighten, like not loose but also not tight. So we're gonna do the same thing again with this side. Okay, so now that we've done that, we're back at the beginning. So you see this is where we started. So we're on the opposite side of that. So I'm gonna poke a hole through and you see this little like bubble that I have. I'm gonna take the needle and weave it through that hole. Maybe. Okay, so see how it's woven through that hole, like it's in through there. And then that's where I'm gonna pull through to get this last tighten. All right, now to just tie this off, we're just gonna basically just wrap this around itself to make a knot. So, you know, just little loop-de-loop. And then pull your fingers down so that you're pulling that knot to the start of that. And then we're just gonna do that a couple of times. Same little loop-de-loop knot. Now that we have that hole down there, we're just gonna cut off the extra. And then, so you see now that this is all sewn back together. And see, you see what I was saying about how this looks funky? This looks weird, I know, but this is the inside of the pants, so nobody's gonna see this. So let me flip them to show you what they look like now. And here's the back side, or the front side, I guess you could say. So yeah, you can't even tell that there's, I mean, it's a little bumpy, but for the most part, can't even tell that there was any hole. So that's how you fix a pair of pants.